Hey there, Michelle. How are you today?
Hey, Lindsay, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Glad to be back. Glad to be back. All good. Michelle, what are we talking about today on the show?
Well, I want to know, Lindsay, did you know anyone who was a snob when you were growing up?
I did actually. I had a friend. She was I guess kind of a friend of me a little bit.
Uh-huh.
A friend of me who lived right down the street. We were friends, but I also felt like she was kind of snobby at times or kind of bossy sometimes, which are
Uh-huh.
two different words. They mean two different
Sure.
things. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
I would say I felt that she was a little bit of a snob.
No
Yeah. What about
good.
you, Michelle? Did you know
Oh,
anyone?
of course. Yeah, no, there were a few of them.
Oh no.
No, but not too bad, not too bad. But yeah, definitely in school. I think everybody knows people who are snobby.
Yeah, this is rampant, and this will be an interesting episode today because it's something that goes across cultures,
Yeah.
right? It goes across the world. It's a personality characteristic, so we're going to get into it today. But this came from a YouTube question, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So the question was from Ardalan Bookart 24, and it just says, "Can you talk about the exact meaning of snob and coffee snob? Thank you
Okay,
so much."
that's
So
fun. Yeah.
yeah, this is going to be fun. So this is a great question. So coffee snob was discussed on episode 2391, which was how to connect over coffee habits in English.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely listen to that one to hear more about coffee.
Yeah.
um
Okay,
but
so we're not going so much into coffee snob. So they're different, right? Coffee snob and snob
and
are very
snob.
different, right? Okay.
Interesting. Yes. So that's what we're going to talk about. So they're not the same thing to say you're a something snob or just a snob.
Right.
Um so let's just start with regular old snob.
Okay.
Um
Okay. Mhm.
so this is a pretty negative word, right?
I would say so. I mean, it's someone generally who's not very nice, and that's usually because he or she believes they're better than other people, right?
Mhm.
And it's so funny because it's something we recognize very young as kids, and then we are aware of it throughout life, right? When
Mhm.
we meet
Mhm.
people, they give off this air of thinking they're amazing, they're too good for certain things, and it might be if they have money, they might have that attitude, but not
Mm.
necessarily. There are people who
No.
have money that are very humble, right?
True. Yeah.
Or
That's
because they're
true.
insecure themselves
Right.
sometimes, right?
Right. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
true. It can somebody can seem like a snob but not actually be a snob.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
we always want to make sure that we kind of give people the benefit of the doubt until we
Yes.
experience, like, don't judge it based on what they look like.
Yes.
Because sometimes people, Lindsay, you were just saying somebody might be shy, somebody might there might actually be something else going on.
Mhm. Totally. Totally. All right. What else do we need to know here, Rochelle?
All right. Well, but how does somebody show they're a snob? I mean,
Well, I guess some things you might do is you might criticize others' tastes, right?
mhm, mhm.
Like talk down about what they've chosen. If I don't know, maybe, well, I don't want to go to the coffee snob to confuse it, but what would be an example of that,
I don't know,
Michelle?
clothes, like,
Yeah, clothes. Sure,
they
sure, sure.
criticize what somebody's wearing or they,
Yeah.
I mean, or again, I don't want to say some people might have this look that they don't like things, right? So they might
Mhm.
just give off this look like when they see somebody come in, their face kind of changes and
Yes,
but
yes,
again, we don't know really by a look completely. But they
yes.
talk down to others, right? That
Yes.
could be a
Mhm.
snob.
They talk down to others. They just have a vibe that
Mhm.
somehow manipulatively can make people feel bad about themselves a little bit if
Mhm.
you let them, but you don't have to let them, right? Of
No.
course. Let's give other examples, Michelle, of how this is used. So this comes
Well,
up a lot in school when we're kids,
yes.
right? Teenagers even or even younger. I remember the popular girls in high school, they were such snobs, and I do remember that.
Me too. Or you could say, I didn't hear what Angela said, and I thought I was being a snob. Oh,
I think
I
she thought.
wait. Sorry, I didn't hear what Angela said, and I think she thought I was being a snob, but I just didn't hear her.
Oh, yeah, that's too bad. You don't want to go through like years and years of an acquaintance thinking they're snobby, but they're actually just not hearing what you're saying, or just, I don't know, they're just in another world in their minds, right? That can very well happen.
Mhm.
And you miss out on a potential friendship, right?
True. But you can
Mm-hmm.
also use the word snobby, right? So snob or snobby. So you could say, don't be snobby or don't be a snob. That means the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yep, exactly, exactly. Okay, now let's flip over to coffee snob, Michelle, because
Right.
it's pretty different.
Right.
Um, is that so negative? Like if we go out for coffee
Mhm.
and we're ordering and I order a pour over, and you say, "Oh, what's that all about? A pour over?" And I say, "Oh, I'm kind of a coffee snob. Don't worry about it. It's,
Mhm. Mhm.
is that okay or is that also negative?"
I think it really depends on how you use it. I think generally speaking, it's not, right? I think it's
Yeah.
okay. It just means that you have a certain special taste in something. Um,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
you could use it in a self-deprecating way, or someone could use it in a negative way. It just depends on the context, right? If I like, let's say you're a coffee snob. Well, let's say you're a wine snob, okay?
Okay. Okay.
And I say, "Oh, I'm gonna invite Lindsay over for, my wine tasting at my house, but I don't know, she's a wine snob, so maybe it's not gonna be good enough for her," right?
Right, 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 right. Yeah. Yeah. So I think in general, our culture applauds when people have unique interests in things,
Mhm.
right? When
Mhm.
you love something so much that you know everything about it. But the difference is, do you kind of like judge other people's choices based on what you know or have
Right.
learned? Right?
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
key.
Or
Yeah.
if let's say you're at someone's house and you're a wine snob and they serve it and
Yeah.
if you kind of show your judgment or you're just kind of vocal about it or you make others feel bad like
Yeah.
not
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody is going to have the same interests that you do unless you're in a wine club. That's why you join kind of
Yeah.
maybe special
Sure.
groups like that so that
Yeah.
you can be with people who have those interests, but not everybody is going to share yours.
Yeah, the hardest thing is gifting wine to a wine snob. I have a friend and she's wonderful. She's lovely. I mean, she's a little bit of a wine snob, but the good thing about her, she's not too judgy. If we try to gift the best wine we can find, but you still, you're like, how much can you spend? But yeah, where does it end, Michelle? But she's sweet actually. Like
That's
she'll
funny.
happily accept any gift, and she'll also share wine. Like she'll buy expensive wine, but then she'll
Ooh.
invite people over and let's enjoy it
Oh, that's
together. So it's
nice.
the best kind of wine snob.
Wait, so can you tell the difference when you have like a good wine versus a regular wine?
Honestly, not really. I really
I
can't. I mean, I can tell when a wine is kind of gone bad, I guess, vinegary and that kind of
Yeah,
thing, or when
yeah,
it's
that's
really low quality. But
mhm,
the difference between, like $100
mhm.
Cabernet versus 1,000, I've never had $1,000 Cabernet,
Yeah,
but I don't think I would be able to tell the difference. I
same.
really don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
No. What about you? Do
No,
you
I have
no.
no idea.
No way. All right. So yeah, very interesting, Michelle, right?
Yep, yep. Alright, let's take a break.
Okay. Yes, we are back. Michelle, what else do we
Alright.
need to know?
So yeah, we were already talking about a blank snob. It doesn't have to be just coffee or wine. So coffee though is very common, but let's talk about some other ones you hear, some other common ones. So I hear city snob. I might say that about myself, right? That I mean, now I live in a suburb, but I would say, like, I might say to somebody talking about my move, I might say, "Oh man, I'm a city snob, so it was really hard for me
Yeah.
to adjust to the suburbs." Right?
Yeah.
That's just saying I love the city,
Sure,
right?
sure, sure, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's okay. Again, usually it's okay to reveal this about yourself because if you're saying it, you're probably already connecting with someone, right?
True.
Or a movie snob. There are a lot
Hmm.
of people that are big time movie snobs. They'll read all the critiques of the movie and very picky about what movie they'll go to. I'll kind of go to any movie because I like to go to the theater. I
That's
just
good. That's good. Yeah. No, I'm not a movie snob. I I don't have a high taste in,
No,
in
high
movie. I don't
taste.
know. I like my give me my Father of the Bride, and I'm set.
Oh, that is
Um,
high taste, Michelle. What are you saying?
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Or we already mentioned wine snob, beer snob. Now, Lindsay, I know you like craft
Oh,
beer. So,
I
are you a
actually
beer
might.
snob?
I might fall into this category,
Uh
admittedly so. Yeah, I just I struggle. Even certain breweries that I go to, if there are not enough dark beers, I'm really into imperial porters and imperial stouts
oh. Okay. Yeah.
right
Snob.
now, which are the
No.
barrel aged, like real deep dark beers. If they don't have enough of those, I will get snobby, even about that brewery, right? Yeah,
That's
that's
really
me,
funny.
beer snob.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
funny. That's funny. Or music snob. That's another one. Do you ever have, oh my God, it's so embarrassing when you can tell somebody kind of has really cool taste
Oh
in
yeah.
music and then they ask you what kind of music you like. And I'm like, I like the Backstreet Boys.
Totally. And there are a
Sometimes
lot
you
of
don't,
music snobs walking
there
around
are
for
a lot.
sure.
And
Yes.
you don't even want to say what you like.
Oh
'Cause
no.
like, who can I think of as the coolest musician
I
that I like
know.
that?
I get
Yeah.
stuck with that too sometimes. And then it could go on and on. You could be a literature snob.
Yeah.
There's just so much that, but it's fun because this means that you're just into a niche, right? A specific
Right.
niche that you love something so much that you have become kind of a snob. But again, it comes back to you. Do you judge others, right?
Right, right.
Yes.
So, like, just to think of a couple other ones. So, fancy hotels, right? You could say I'm a
Hotel
hotel
snob.
snob, or
Yes.
if you only fly first class, I'm an airplane
Mhm.
snob, right? So many.
Yep.
So sometimes it means you only like the highest quality of that certain thing, but sometimes it might just mean that you know a lot about it. You pay attention to it. So coffee snob could be either. If
Yeah.
it's just if you're talking about not liking something or being judgy about it, then you might say you don't like something because you're a snob about that
Yes.
particular topic, basically.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
So
feel like probably most of our listeners are a snob about something, but again, the good kind of snob, right?
good,
Something that you
good
really
stuff.
nerd out on, that you really love. You've developed a refined taste for
Oh
something,
my God.
right?
Is it bad that I can't think about what kind of snob I am? Like, should I be I said city snob. I said city
Yeah,
snob, but
you love New York, I mean, or the big cities,
yeah.
and you have high standards for
Yeah.
cities, right?
Sure.
I like
Yeah.
that. We'll go with that, Michelle, it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I feel better. So, in another episode, we can talk about different ways to say these things. So, hit follow because there are tons of other ways we can express this. But
Yeah,
for
guys,
now,
hit
yeah,
that follow
sorry. Go ahead.
button now. Now, just a reminder again, like we said, to hit follow if you love our style. Remember, everything we're teaching here is modern, real English, but it's also coming back to human connection. It all comes back to connection. So if that's what you want in your life, speaking English, hit the follow button and follow us. All right, good.
Awesome.
Okay.
Let's do a role play. So, we are on a cruise together doing a
Oh,
wine tasting.
who's the wine snob here? Let's see. Let's
I
see.
don't know. All
All
right.
right. All right. Wow. All of these look amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. They look fine. I'm just a wine snob, so I have very high expectations.
Oh boy, Michelle.
Oh no, you can totally tell the sommelier is snobby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's kind of a bummer. So it's a bummer when someone is super excited about something and
Yeah.
then someone else joins. They're like, oh, the choices aren't very good.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be careful of that, right?
It's true. That's true. So, let's go through it. So I said I'm just a wine snob, right?
Yeah. So I have very high expectations. And then the problem there for connection is I'm going to start to think, oh, maybe it's not that exciting. It's not that great. It's going to dampen my experience a little bit, potentially.
Mhm,
Or I'm just going to
mhm,
keep being very excited about the wine choices, right?
right.
Yeah. And then I said, "Oh boy, Michelle." And what am I saying here? I'm saying
You're basically saying, "Oh gosh, you're gonna have a terrible experience," kind
Ye
of.
exactly. I'm just saying, "Oh, it's too bad that you're a wine snob
Yeah.
because, and then you said, "Oh no, you can totally tell the sommelier is snobby."
Mhm.
Um, so you're just saying the sommelier at this wine tasting is snobby, but the
Mm.
wines aren't good, which is weird because right?
Yeah, yeah, it's weird. Something's not matching up.
Something's not right. But anyways, so I think the point is connection right here, and we'll come back to the takeaway in just a minute. But Michelle, is there another episode we should check out?
Check out 2419, which was how to connect over mutual interests. And that's really great to listen to with this one because, in a way, when you call yourself a snob, it's a way to show what your interests are, and you might end up connecting with someone.
Totally, totally. And then you can go do a wine tasting with those people, right? I mean, that's how we can find friendships and deepen our
That's
connections.
true.
But I think this term is interesting, right? So in one way, if we're actually just a snob, it is kind of negative.
Mhm.
But if we're more of a niche snob, like a movie snob, a coffee snob, that can be okay depending on how we present that fact,
Mhm,
right?
mhm. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
true. So it really depends on the context if it's kind of a negative thing or not. But yeah, I think in any case you're going to hear this out in your conversations. You can use it. Just be careful. Don't call someone a snob
Yeah.
unless you're kind of joking around about a special interest. But I would more say it's safer to just use it about yourself when you're starting off.
Yeah, I love it. Good stuff, Michelle. Thanks for being on the show with me today. Guys, hit the follow button for more All Ears English. All right.
All
Good.
right. All right. Thanks, Lindsay. Have a great day.
All right. Bye.
Bye.